Hey, it's the podcast guy.
Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast.
And there it is! Sutton United at the GM Vauxhall Conference have put out First Division Coventry City, winners of the FA Cup themselves less than 2 years ago. And what a moment to enjoy for the fans of this Surrey side. They've had their moments before, but never one like this. But the whistle goes down. Delight for Sutton United. Sutton United from the National League are through to the last 16 of the FA Cup. No longer English football's perennial non-league club. A 123-year crescendo reaches a new peak for Sutton United, who are promoted to the Football League for the first time.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Sutton United Talk Time on podcast. It's the Sutton Podcast in association with Lucky Star Gin, and I'm your host, Mike. Joining me today, we have Dan and Julian. In this episode, we are going to continue to discuss the post-Christmas winning run. I don't care. I'm loving this. I said for ages that we're going to do well after Christmas, and we did. So I'm milking this for everything I can. We're then going to look forward to the visit of Hartlepool. There is also Nottingham Forest on Tuesday, but my interest in that will depend entirely on the result. We love hearing from you. Join the conversation, stay connected, share your thoughts on social medias. I'm sure Dan's going to talk to us about Blue Sky, and you can find us on all the major platforms and X or at Sutton Podcast. Your likes, shares, and comments really help us. JR, you just said, and I've worried that you were going to take it a little bit too far, but it's been just under a year since you were on.
Yeah, I thought it was about a year, and I kept on ignoring your emails, and I thought, well, no, I've got to reply
at some stage. How have you been?
All good, yeah, good.
And you're looking forward to a winning chat.
Well, absolutely. It makes a change from last time I was on, so I think so. Yeah, it's good. It's all good, isn't it?
Absolutely. And Dan, it's significantly less time for you.
It was about 2 weeks ago.
Anyone not watching the video, I don't know what Dan's managed to do, but I mean, he just looks like he's something sent from heaven. I don't know. Now you all got to go and check out the video.
I think it's a cross between the blurring thing for the camera for the background, the fact that my kitchen is quite brightly coloured, and we have it kind of those LED spotlights in here. So that combined makes me look
looks like
very guru-like.
Well, either that or you're about to drop a revamped 90s album, a comeback tour or something.
Yeah, I look like probably some sort of Max Headroom type reject or something. For the younger listeners and viewers amongst you, Google it.
But did you say you've been well since 2 weeks ago?
Yeah.
Good.
Working too much, but there you go, back to life.
Yeah, I've been intense this last week, and it's just completely wiped me out. It's like I've started a new job, which I'm like, yeah, it's fine, no problem, and then suddenly it's like, oh, I've got a whole crap load of stuff to learn in 4 weeks. Lovely, beautiful.
Yeah. Responsibility sucks, man. It's rubbish.
I wreck everyone's council tax. Shh, don't tell anyone. Right, we're going to jump into the Knowing Me, Knowing You segment. And there is a logo, which I know you both heard it, but it's coming anyway. So, this is just to get a little insight into you guys and how your thought process. I don't know why I pretended all that crap, just something to fill the time. JR, what is the most unusual place you've seen someone wearing a Sutton United merchandise? Some merchandise.
Well, yes, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I really couldn't come up with anything, so I'll probably say the moon or something like that. No, I actually couldn't. I couldn't think of anywhere that I've seen someone that's unusual. I see every time I walk around London and stuff, I see people with especially in this weather, yellow yellow bubble hats, so I make a particular point of looking at them and seeing if they're Sutton United ones. But alas, they're not. But I really, honestly, I can't think. I mean, I take my beach towel abroad. My Sutton United beach towels, but proudly out on display. But I can't really think of anywhere that I've seen anywhere unusual that I've seen. I'm sorry, Mike.
That's all right. When I say it, you'll be like, oh yeah, I've got that. Dan, what about yourself?
Well, it used to be seeing someone else on the high street with it about 10 years ago. That wasn't someone you knew or hung out with. So I had to have a think about this as well, because I couldn't think of anywhere where I'd seen it unusual. And then a little thing popped into my head this morning. I'll get stick off the other guys for this, because it relates to a trip I did in 2009 with a couple of other idiots who go regularly. And it was a certain Mr. Gareth Miller, who some people may be familiar with, rising from his tent very early one morning in the wilds of a country called Kazakhstan, and he had on a Sutton United polo top, an old one that he obviously had and was just wearing because it was going to get messed up on the trip. So that's the strangest place, I think. I think it was somewhere in the region of the Aral Sea in
Fair
Kazakhstan.
enough. Well,
so yeah. So if someone beats that, fair play.
I kind of predicted your answer. I thought your answer was going to be Oldham, and seeing Sutton around Oldham with their Sutton shirts. Because that's a bit. Well, hang on, and Wembley as well was really freaky for me to see everyone walking around Wembley with their Sutton stuff on. So.
I've seen our colours elsewhere. I mean, I did Melbourne a few years ago and I was there the week of the AFL Grand Final. Hawthorn were in the final, so me walking from my hotel to the office where I was working, 50% of the people walking around, like everybody puts their colours on to declare who they're backing in the final. So everyone was out in either blue or white for Geelong, or they're in basically yellow and brown or amber and chocolate for Hawthorn. And that was quite cool. That the next time I saw anything like that volume was walking up Wembley Way. 2 years ago. So, but that wasn't Sutton stuff. That wasn't Sutton stuff. So I pretended it was.
Dublin. Everyone was wandering around Dublin wearing this is too weird for me. But yeah, give us your answers. See if you can beat Dan Kazakhstan somewhere, and share your thoughts on socials. Club news. Topolov's loan was extended. I hope I said his name right. I've never actually practiced. And there was a big shock for the player of the month for January. I believe Will scraped it slightly. The women's side dropped out of the League Cup today. They lost 4-1, but they were pushing for an equaliser until like last, I think, 10 minutes or so, and then they got hit to make it 3-1, and then I think possibly the heads must have dropped and it went to 4-1. Mention again the fans match on the 18th of May. Make sure you contact Claire if you're interested in playing, and then Dundo's testimonial is the week after. The exciting thing on the podcast is we had a comment from Rodrigo de Paula from Paraguay, who said he enjoys listening because it helps him learn his English. I'm not entirely sure that's a good way of learning English, but
yeah. I'm not sure we'd be you'd be considered good source material for that.
Welcome to the Southern United. Oh no. Yeah. So anyway, well, hello Rodrigo. Onto the chat, the match. What were you thinking of the lineup? I mean, we'll start with you, Dan. They're in the division below us. They're flying high in the division below us, but they're in the division below us. Balanced with that, I'm not sure. Have we won at Kidderminster for a long, long time? Ever?
I don't think we've ever won there, actually. We were talking about this on the train.
No, we haven't won there. No.
Excellent. So what did you think of the lineup, and what was your hope, expectation? Because there had to be a result.
I mean, these days, I don't tend to get too sort of horrified by the team or surprised by it. You know, seem to have got a very largely set core now. Steve seems to have, I think, probably 8 or 9 of his starting 11 broadly settled on, and then it's just the odd little change here about who's available, you know, either an injury or a knock. Didn't expect Nadasan to feature, so that wasn't really a surprise. So yeah, team wise it was pretty much as largely as expected. There wasn't anything there that was a bit ooh or oh. It was, you know, as no, nothing really to write home about. It was okay. That's the team. Let's get it on. Let's get on with it.
And what were your thoughts ahead of the match? How did you see it going, or were you nervous?
I wouldn't say nervous, but just I knew it was going to be a tough game because they're going well this year. They're clearly confident. They've got a bit of momentum behind them. Probably a touch more than we would have had going into the game. All right, we've had a couple of wins, but we've had a bit of a stop-start season, as we've seen. So it was. I knew it was going to be a tough one, and it. I think it largely went how I thought it would, but I was confident if we could get in front that should do us. I think, and that's kind of how it panned out, really.
Fair enough. And JR, yourself, how were you kind of feeling heading into it, and what did you feel about the lineup?
Yeah, I was pretty confident, to be honest. After the last few performances, we know that Kidderminster are a good side. We'd never have won there. The best we got was a draw and I think an FA Cup game that we took them back to Gannett Green Lane and won on penalties. But I was pretty certain that Kirk was going to come in for Taylor, because Taylor was cup tied, and Kirk was the obvious choice, because before he got injured, he was showing his quality. So and as Dan says, Steve's sorted. He's got his 8 or 9 players that he's keen on picking every week now, and the results are paying dividends, really. It does help that he's actually got a squad to choose from now. That virtually everybody's back apart from Jaden and Steve Arnold. Everybody else is more or less available. We don't know about. Well, we don't know. Nadders is probably not too far away, as I understand it, but obviously going into the game and that, we'll talk about it, I'm sure. But Josh Coley limping off's not good. But going into the game, I was pretty confident that if we play like we have been playing, then we would do just fine and get a result.
You mentioned that penalty shootout match. That was she's only in the kitchen, so something may get thrown in a second. That was the game that years and years ago Sally made me leave early. We were behind. We were never going to do anything. And next thing we equalised. I heard the cheer as I was walking down the thing, and I missed the penalty shootout. So she's walked past now. I've let it go. I'm fine. I'm fine with it.
Really?
Steve's tactics, a couple of people have already said spot on. Contain them. We knew what they were going to do. Interesting, the thoughts of, oh my God, they're all over us, and he's saying, yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted to soak up the pressure. Were you feeling that, JR? That was intentional?
Well, I don't know whether it would be intentional or not. I wasn't quite sure how it worked out. I just felt that in the first half it wasn't working with Wadham coming back and playing. It just seemed to be a little bit off the pace, and Harris was Davis, was isolated. What we've done in the last few games is we've really held our shape well at the back, and we've just restricted them merely to long range shots. And if you look back, you'll see that Sims only had 1 shot to save in the whole game, and that was in the good save at the end of the first half. But all their shots were generally outside the box. Yeah, they should have hit the target a couple of times, and who knows, might have been a different story. But actually in the box, we defended brilliantly, and that part of the game has really, I think, really improved.
That's one of the things I was going to move on to. But Dan, what were you feeling? Did you feel that the tactics were obvious, or were you?
I don't think it was. I wouldn't call them obvious. It's more. Steve certainly, when he started this season, I think he probably wanted to play a little bit more openly and be a bit more on the front foot attacking wise. But I think he's kind of understood that maybe with the players that we have, we can't go as open as maybe he wanted to. Still a young side, still aspects to work on. So he's decided to be a bit more for want of a better way of describing it, cautious. I don't think he's being negative. I think it's just he wants to just be more organised, more solid, and like JR said, keep shape better, and which we have done a lot. We did it superbly at York, and yesterday was another one where everybody, just kept the shape. We restricted them to, whilst they had a ton of the ball, they didn't do a huge amount with it. They had a couple of sighters that they probably would have been disappointed they didn't at least hit the target with. They've put them over from reasonable positions. But bar that, as JR said, the only thing Jack had to do was to push one round the post, I think fairly late in the half. And to be honest, from where I stood, it looked like it was probably going wide anyway. He just was covering his post. So yeah, I mean, we kept our shape well, but it was obvious at half time something had to change, because we when we got the ball, we got into that little rut that we do occasionally, where we were losing the ball a little cheaply, and not making the most of having the ball. Whereas you compare it to some like the Barnet game, where again we didn't have the ball a lot, but when we got it, we hurt them with it. We made sure we created something from it. That didn't quite work first half on yesterday. Sorry.
JR brought it up, but the defence, we've been critical on certainly on pitch side, where not many people can hear. But last few weeks, I mean, French has taken some stick from various different things, but he's definitely suddenly just a real purple patch as far as I can see. But how was French and Kirk? Tony was very, very complimentary about them yesterday on commentary. But how was the defence for you and the French Kirk partnership, Dan?
Well, yeah, I mean, they kept the shape brilliantly. They defended well. They communicated well. I mean, there was a couple of little moments first half where the ball was in our box, and sort of was up for grabs, and the guys no one panicked. No one. We've done it a couple of times this season where we've snatched at sort of a loose ball bouncing in our box, rather than go at it with certainty. We've just thought, oh right, we've got to get rid of that, and it's pinged it straight to an opponent who's had we did it at Rochdale, we did it at home to I think it was Aldershot, where we've not cleared our lines when we should have done, and we just looked a bit more settled. I think we're not reacting to stuff and just snatching it, trying to do it at the quickest opportunity. It's like, well, wait, that ball bounces, and then if it's coming onto them, they're able to get rid of it, or just let it run out of play. And there was a couple yesterday where it was someone was chill out so that someone else could clear the ball, rather than someone else try or two people go for it at the same time. So yeah, we just look a bit more settled. I think again, it's coming round, like we all said it, that they're going to settle down around Christmas as everybody just gets to know each other that little better.
Did we all say it, or was it just me?
Most people did. No, most people did.
Just me.
I know. I said I wasn't expecting anything till after Christmas.
What about yourself, Julian? How do you feel about defence?
I'm loving it at the moment, the way they're playing. I think, French and Kirk were super. French has been fantastic, I think, probably for the last month or so. Perhaps a little bit unsure before Christmas, at the start of the season, but we've got a whole new squad, and they're now gelling. And I think Steve mentioned this anyway. He's expected, Rome wasn't built in a day, expecting it to sort of take a bit of time to sort out, and they seem to be gelling really, really well. I think they all enjoy playing together anyway. They seem that way. They seem to get on, and they're forging great partnerships. And when Kirk and Taylor no doubt will play very well. Kirk's a really good communicator, I think, as well, and French is obviously being the captain. So, and Kirk, I think Kirk's going to be absolute quality for us. I really do. I think and he's just getting back in. He's not 100% match fit yet either. So Same with Woodyard in midfield, which you might go on to, but I think he's only going to get better and better, and he's already made his mark, I think. Hence the change of results really, and being unbeaten in January. So yeah, no, I love the defence. I love the setup, the way it's going. Steve seems to be doing everything right at the moment, which is fantastic. So long may it continue.
Yeah, and I'm liking the way we can kind of go, right, okay, we're going to go 5. No, we're going to go 3. No, we're going to go 4. So the difference that we can just change it up even during matches is great.
It keeps the opposition guessing, doesn't it, when they're doing their homework?
Exactly.
How are we going to set up?
Yeah, I mean, going back to the team lineups, Joe, you and I used to get sort of 9 and 10s without any additional information. And now it's like, I haven't got a clue. I'm sorry to choose anyone, which is something someone did send in about the comments. But you mentioned midfield. I mean, things we soaked up in the first half, and then we changed it up in the second half. So how do you feel like the midfield? Did the change come as a surprise to you, or was it like, it's obvious we're going for it? With the substitutions at half time. JR, with yourself first, how's the midfield going, and did you think those substitutions were?
Yeah, as I said, I alluded to earlier, I don't think it didn't quite work in the first half, and we were giving Kidderminster a bit too much of the ball in our half, and allowing them to create some chances. So I felt that I thought there might be a change. I didn't realise that there was going to be 2 changes. And Woodyard got booked in the first half, so it's not surprising really that I think it was one more tackle and he might be off. So it wasn't surprising that he came off. But I do like him, and as I say, I don't think he's 100% match fit yet because he hadn't been playing previously. So I think he's going to be even better. But bringing Dylan on, I think made a real difference. I think he was fantastic second half. He really was. Apart from not scoring, which he should have scored, and he knows he should have scored, but and that would have put the game to bed, and we wouldn't have had palpitations for the last 10 minutes or so. But I thought he was brilliant. He caused them no end of problems, and balls are coming in the box. Especially after we scored anyway. He was causing there were loads of problems. We should have had 2 or 3. Mm-hmm. We played with quite a bit of confidence, and it was a much better second half because of the changes.
And Dan, yourself on the midfield,
yeah, same as JR. First half, Steve said afterwards he wanted to kind of sit in and contain and kind of keep them in front of us a little bit, and I get that. That's fine. They're at home, and as we said, they're going well this season, so you want to kind of try and blunt them a little bit before you then switch to trying to do what you want to do. The midfield though wasn't quite working. Wadham didn't really get going. As JR said, Woodyard got picked up a bit of a soft yellow, I thought it was.
Yeah.
The guy made a lot of the challenge. But it got to half time. It was obvious that that's where, if we were going to make a change, that's where it was going to be. CG coming on, big physical lad, and he's got legs, he's young, so he can cover the ground. And just Dylan to give us a little bit more, just a bit more point to the attack, and a bit more pace out there as well to sort of unsettle them a little bit more. So yeah, once the goal came, I didn't feel particularly threatened, to be honest, and we should have put it to bed. Yeah, before the final whistle.
That should have put it to bed. I mean, we obviously Will scored, obviously. I mean, he's making this whole prediction league quite boring with everyone putting Will Davis as his first goal scorer, but hey ho. I mean, his form is great, obviously. But again, it sounded like a game of, we just need to put that ball in there. I've seen Dylan's back, and he did everything right and kind of stroked it in. It's like, oh god. So is that something you think, Dan, we're just going to suddenly give someone a pasting? Steve reckons Dylan's going to score and then go on a great run, which is quite possible because he just needs it off his back. But are you feeling there's something missing, or is it just one of those?
I think with Dylan, it is probably going to be one of those ones where when he gets one, like Steve says, he'll probably go on a bit of a run and score in a few games. He's still getting back into the side after, he got injured on the opening day. All right, he's been back a couple of months now, but still largely from the bench, more often than not. So maybe it's just a little bit of when he gets an opportunity, it's a little, it's in his head a little bit that I've got to try and take this if I want to keep my place. I mean, the 2 chances he missed I forget who he played now, the recent game where he had one-on-ones, and hit them both straight at the keeper. The chance he created yesterday, he created enough space for him for the shot. It was just a little bit. He dragged it just a fraction. There was plenty of room there to slot it in, but he's just dragged it that fraction, so it came back off the post. So yeah, he's I think he's growing into it. He was out for 3 months, so he's just a little bit behind everybody on that curve. But I think overall, our finishing is just taking chances is something we do need to just do a little bit more of. Certainly in games like yesterday, where having worked hard, done the basics, got yourself in, and got yourself in front to a position where they've got to open up and they have to come at you. That gives you more opportunities on the break, and when you do get them, you've got to take them, because then that last 10 minutes would have been dead. That'd have been them. They'd have been out on their arse 2-0. They're not coming back. So that's probably one of the things we need to do. Is just when it's dagger time,
ruthless,
turn the knife and just put the game to bed.
JR, you agree?
I do. Dan's actually right, spot on. I mean, if you the wingers and the pacey men are always, it's always difficult for them when they come back from injury. I find. I always remember watching Theo Walcott when he was at Arsenal, and he'd get injured, and then it would take him 8 to 10 games to get back into the rhythm and really, and then fly and be absolutely brilliant. And and as Dylan's been coming off, mainly on the bench, it's going to take time for him to really get back and get into it, and also get his confidence. One goal, if he gets one goal, I mean, I think it was either Willstone or Aldershot, wasn't it? I can't remember which one it was now, that where he missed the 2 1-on-1s. But he once he gets one, I suspect he'll get more in his confidence. I mean, we're just seeing what's happened with Will Davis. He can't stop scoring now. He's got so much confidence now. Occasionally he's still on his heels a little bit. We do see it from behind the goal, but he's anticipating more. He's, I mean, he does work his socks off, doesn't he? But I just feel that it's just confidence. You get one, and then you're just growing. And obviously the guys are confident as a whole anyway, because we're winning games. So I think it just breeds more confidence, and I'm sure Dylan. I think he's going to be a fine footballer for us. So, hopefully he'll get on the score sheet soon.
Yeah, it's always nice bringing these things up when we're winning. When we're losing and we're missing chances, it's like, oh, God's sake. But yeah, it is something we'll talk about with Josh in a minute. But you do forget these injuries are not just like our aches and pains going, these are quite serious injuries that people are coming back to do the same thing that they're running at speed with. Anything can happen. So it does take a little while.
Yeah.
Right, a couple more bits. These are in no particular order, but 6 minutes. As I put, lol, Bants, 6 minutes. Dan, you said you were confident. JR, were you confident in that last few minutes, or were you?
Generally, I wasn't too worried. I thought we were still keeping our shape, and they didn't really hurt us very much. Yeah, they had a couple of crosses and that, but we actually had quite a lot of the ball, and we had a couple more chances, and then at the end, the last minute and a half, 2 minutes, it was great because we were just going in the corner. We had the ball, we were going in the corner, we're keeping possession, and they had no answer to it. So it wasn't really a problem. It was just waiting for the strange ref that we had to blow up, and eventually he did, thankfully. So
guess what's next on the list? So yeah, I mean, the last few games we've been not hanging on, but we've been in a 1-goal lead, and it's been 6 minutes. Are you satisfied, Dan, that that's gone to bed? I mean, I did say it last week, but I do kind of make these sweeping statements. Are you happy now that that's it? We're not going to ever worry about these last 6 minutes.
I mean, to be honest, I don't think it's something that's completely gone and that's a curse busted or anything. I mean, when you've got 6 added minutes, that many added minutes at the end of a game, it, as we said it, sort of the Aldershot game, we could see what happened was coming because and it just seemed that sometimes a team will just go all out because all right, we've got 6 minutes here, we've got nothing else to lose, go for it. So you can never quite say that you'll never concede late on again. But yeah, yesterday I thought we saw it out pretty well. It was definitely a game that was going to be very, very tight. It was either going to finish 0-0 and go to penalties because they didn't seem to be able to get a decent shot on target. But I did feel that if we could nick a goal, that would be enough. And then late on, I think the goal kind of set them back a little bit, gave us a lift. We had 2 or 3 good chances after that. And again, as I said, we should have put it to bed, but didn't. So there's always a little bit of don't, if it's, always while it's one game, there's always a chance. So,
yeah.
But yeah, I mean, they didn't really offer anything in the added times. A couple of crosses put in that we defended well, a couple of headers in, got rid of them. So yeah. But yeah, I don't think. I think, as we all know, that anytime we see that 6 go up on the board, we're all just going to roll our eyes and go, "Here we go," just because.
Yeah. I believe there's a book named after it. Yeah, that was for a different reason. Right, JR alluded to it. You may have alluded to it in some of your. I can't even say tweets. The Blue Skies.
They're posts apparently. I was told this yesterday morning.
The referee. Now, obviously, I didn't get to watch the match. I did hear it, and you're not going to hear these things from Tony. The referee's awful. But talk to us about the ref, Dan. And we won, so we can complain about the ref. We're allowed to. We won the match. This isn't sour grapes. This is just moaning.
I thought it was shit.
Thank you very much.
Let's be brutally honest about it. He was probably the worst we've had this year. Really inconsistent. Typical, basically, like one of those refs who was favouring the home side in all the 50-50 stuff. Like he'd blow us for something innocuous, and then literally seconds later, a kiddie player's making exactly the same challenge, and he's just waving play on and stuff like that. And a couple of our yellows were ridiculous. I mean, the challenge on Josh that he limped off from was late. The guy did him. And all we got out, it was a throw-in. Didn't even talk to the bloke. And I mean, the challenge on Simper as well, late on, not long after we'd gone ahead. That was just a scumbag challenge where he wasn't going to get. The guy knew he was out of position and got caught, and he had literally no intent. One of them ones you can see the guy coming from 6-8 yards away, and he's going to do the man. And those sort of challenges are the sort of ones refs need to get a handle on. Because that's it. You've got no intent of playing for the ball, so you're endangering your opponent. So to me, that should be a red card. And then you could see even from our lads' reaction to it. And we're not, as we well know, we're not one of these sides who surround the ref and get into his face and all the rest of it. And then CG gets booked for saying to the ref, what's that? So how's that fair? That their guys chopped Simper, could have hurt him. And we both end up with a yellow card out of it. But yeah, he was. I mean, I thought him at the final whistle, his body language, the final whistle was so half-hearted. I think it broke his heart to actually have to blow it. It was all right, game's over. I thought he was a tosser.
Yep, fair enough. JR, match that.
I thought he was brilliant. No, he was. Dan's absolutely again spot on. Yeah, he was really inconsistent with. There was some even in the first half there was some bad fouls that he was letting go, and then we'll do something very innocuous, and he'll blow up for a foul. All right, the fouls on our players were up our end, so I could see them a bit better. But it just seemed very inconsistent. As you said, some of the yellow cards were just ridiculously soft. They just weren't, and it wasn't as if it was, their second, third, fourth tackle or foul. Sometimes it was the first foul, or even if it was a foul, it was very innocuous. Yeah, he was poor. And I can't remember, I was standing next to him, and they said, "Oh yeah, the referee's crap, and the linesman on that side's crap, but the other one's okay." And the one on the other side then just missed something completely and got it completely wrong. And we got a corner which was nowhere near, not a corner.
Yeah.
So there are things that were going our way a little bit, but everything seemed to be going their way. And I was looking over at the touchline at times, and you could see Steve and the others getting a little bit frustrated, shall we say. It was ridiculous, and he was in very grave danger of losing control of the game, because it was boiling over at times, because the players are just getting fed up with some of the cynical challenges. As Dan said, the one on Simper, I mean, I can see why he gave a yellow, because Lewis Skelly's one got overturned, didn't it? His red card got overturned, the Arsenal guy. So I can see why. Well, that's got overturned, and it's a similar challenge, so it's a yellow. But when you're not playing the ball and you're endangering the player, I mean, he could have done his knee ligaments, all sorts of things. It could have been career-ending, things like that. I know it was just a trip sticking a leg out, but if you fall awkwardly, it's poor. And I just think he lost control of the game, and he was really poor, as opposed to the referee we had the last league game, who actually was anonymous, so he was absolutely excellent.
Yeah, that's what you want out of refs. You don't want to be talking about them. You don't want to remember them, do you?
No, there are some good ones, but they're very few and far between. And this one, I suspect I don't know, Dan might know, but I suspect he refs at a slightly lower level. And maybe it was too much for him. He just couldn't handle it. But he was really poor.
I think they have to be able to.
I think they have to set the ref from the level of the highest ranked side.
Yeah.
So he must have done some National League games. I don't know if that is still the case. That certainly used to be it.
It used to be a couple of years ago. I know that.
I know that used to be the case, but so you would assume, though, if he's reffing at that level, he would have at least done some National League North and South games, bare minimum, and maybe lined in a couple. But yeah, he wasn't very good at all.
Right, you mentioned, and I'm going to use the word funny, but I don't mean funny. But you mentioned about Josh's injury, and he didn't. The guy didn't give him a free kick. And we only got a throw on. I believe that's literally the message I sent to Josh after the first injury. Was, oh well, at least we got a throw on from it, and it's the same ankle. I think he said his foot got stuck and he rolled it. He was in quite a bit of pain yesterday, he said, but this morning it's subsided a little bit. Although I'm concerned about how much painkillers, because he'd mentioned about we've gone on an unbeaten run since he's been back, and I did say, well, I'm pretty sure it's the yellow coat that did it. And he said, oh, yeah, all things count. So I'm like, right, stop taking painkillers, buddy, because this is too much now. But yeah, I don't think he's had anything checked yet on how long. But it's the same ankle that he had a few months ago. So it could be one of those that is really, really painful, but it heals up very quickly. But
it's probably a soft tissue injury or something like that. It's just going to be a couple of weeks out just for rest and a bit of physio, I would imagine. Hopefully, anyway.
Absolutely, hopefully. But as always, I know everyone always says, "Oh, come back quick." I'm always like, "Don't be quick, just be strong." Yeah, just make sure it's good.
Mike, one thing that Steve does do is he doesn't rush players back. He's very, very careful, looking after the players' welfare. So I'm sure Josh will be back when he's fully fit and ready.
Yeah, at the right time. I mean, same with Ryan Jackson. He had that eye injury.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Hopefully I'll do this, do that. And I went, Jacko, this is your eyes, mate. Let's not mess around with worrying about kicking the ball about for a bit. Let's take it seriously. Next thing I wanted to talk to you two is the away fan attendances. I mean, you guys have both been there on the days you could have all literally come up on a little minibus, and it was like 220 odd yesterday. which is more than 10% of the crowd. I mean, how's that? How do you feel about that evolving over the years to something we all right, we're not bringing Notts County numbers and the huge amounts, but for us that's a big change in the attendance. So, JR, how do you feel about that?
Were you listening into our conversations yesterday on
No,
the
I
train
wasn't.
on the train home?
No, definitely, I'm not allowed to do
We
that
were,
anymore.
we were sort of alluding to it. Well, we were talking about really the home attendances and stuff and how they've grown, but
Mhm.
but yeah, I mean, look, it's fantastic. 244, I think, at York, which is outstanding, and 224 yesterday, which is equally fantastic. And yeah, I think it's great. But people want to go, and we're playing. We are playing decent football. Some of the football we have played recently has been outstanding. It's been brilliant. I mean, obviously the York game goes without saying; it was a complete performance. But we have been. We can see what the team are trying to do, what they're being coached, and they're trying to knock it about quickly and play fast-flowing football. Doesn't always work, of course. The passes go awry and stuff, but that's sort of. I'm sure the fans are enjoying it, for that, and we are starting to win now as well. So I suspect that more people will go to the away games. I mean, some of them are quite. I mean, I'm not maybe not Gateshead, but Gateshead on a Tuesday night. But no, it's great, and it's good to have. I'm sure the players appreciate it, and the management that we have got reasonable support. The next goal is really to get over 300 away from some of these long trips, and then maybe a bit higher after that. But it's good. It's good.
Yep.
It used to be 100. We're more than doubling it now. So I think it's fantastic.
You'd almost at some stages, if people go, how many do you reckon you're bringing? You could probably rattle off some of the names and go, right, it's going to be 40,
Yeah,
50,
exactly.
and we know every single one of them. But yeah, fair play, especially to those young ones as well. Dan, what do you reckon? I mean, 10% of the crowd in a few of these places.
Yeah, I mean that's
25%. I think it was on one of them. I can't remember what one. Eastleigh it might be.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's good. It's good to see. It just shows that the club is growing. The more support you have, obviously, the better it speaks for your future. But yeah, I mean, I know we obviously used to travel everywhere, and you could usually say it'd be between 50 and 100, depending where it is, how close it is. Is it a relative? If it's a new ground, there'll be a couple more out. It might go as high as 120. Certainly in some of the longer trips. But yeah, there was. I mean, even last season, sort of the home attendances held up, and the away attendances were again held up. You were still getting 100 away at midweek long distance games. You're still taking 200 a lot of weeks as well. So yeah, it's good. It's good to see. It's not, especially the young uns who are starting to come as well. Just that new generation of supporters. Just that there's a future there. It's not all about us old gits.
In 3 or 4 years, they'll be allowed to drink as well.
That's the worrying part.
Allowed. Okay, I'm not saying they don't. I'm saying they're only allowed. Right. So we are through to the quarterfinals for the first time since 2000. I'm reliably informed. Who do we want? Spending more at home? Who do you fancy, Dan? Does it matter? Do you care? You're going to be there anyway, so it don't really matter to you, does it?
Yeah, it's. I mean, I suppose from my point of view, I always try and look at places I've not been to, because I've been doing this so long. So you look at the places that maybe new ground or somewhere you've not been to. So maybe Sittingbourne. But then again, But then again, they're all equally as winnable as they are losable. So spending more at home would be fun, because we went up there a couple of years ago, obviously with the rearranged game after Brumley got slung out, and they looked after us. They're nice people. Mm-hmm. So maybe if we got them at home, it'd be nice to see some faces again, and sort of show them a bit of hospitality in return, and then thump them 3-0 like they did with us.
Yeah, well,
but yeah, true. But yeah, I'm not overly fussed, because they're all one-off ties. You've just got to just get through them.
Jared did make the point that it would be quite amusing to have Rochdale away because that's where we were supposed to be anyway. So, JR, any particular care who we get? Or
Well, normally you'd say, right, you want to go for the lowest ranked side, really. That gives you the best chance of winning. But we know we've done giant killing before, and Sittingbourne this season have done plenty of giant killing. If anybody gets a chance, I mean, Dan and I were having, and others were having a chuckle on the way home. But you've got to see Sittingbourne's 96-minute winner against Southend yesterday. That was absolutely gold, and great away following, by the way. But they've got.
Was that the one between his legs on the floor?
No. The defender went to clear it, kicked it against the Sittingbourne player, and it rocketed into the corner of the net. Nice. Last kick of the game. So fantastic. But I mean, they've got, the thing is with Sittingbourne, I mean, they've caused a whole load of shocks already, and they've got a plus 69 goal difference apparently in their league. So they're a decent side. So, but ideally you do want the lowest ranked side. I'd rather avoid Woking, Altrincham, and Rochdale if we can, and then whoever. But I suppose you want a home tie, but I actually don't mind an away tie because I think we're better away from home. So I think we can play a different style of football, and I feel at the moment that we do play better away from home. So perhaps an away tie that's not very far away. Mind you, I wouldn't mind going to Spennymoor again. I really enjoyed it up there. They got some very nice bars up there and stuff. So, and as Dan said, the people are very nice. But yeah, there's a bit of a slope on their ground, and they still got Glenn Taylor playing for them. So I think he got 2 against us in the last game a few years ago. So yeah, I don't mind really. Whoever we get, we've got a chance. So. It doesn't really matter. It's sort of, the cup ties unpredictable, aren't they? So
exactly. Right, the points of views. I probably need a jingle for this. I do it like the BBC points of views. Yeah, I'll do that anyway. That's another time. So Andrew Jackson said there was. I mean, we discussed this really, but great shift by the lads. Whether there could have been the storm, and then 2 inspired changes by the gaffers tipped the scales in our favour, which is kind of where we were. One of you hinted at this one. Lewis Massingham-Roll said, is this the strongest squad we've ever had? We remember having a big squad under Doswell after the Arsenal game, but lots of players on the bench and not in the squad could have started yesterday without the side being weakened. Dan, you shook your head. Is it too early to call that?
I mean, they're doing well at the moment, and there's still a lot. Don't get me wrong, there's still a fair few little things that just need to, little rough edges that still need to be taken off. And you can see, though, we are progressing, which is good. But yeah, I think it's way too early to start making claims like that. I mean, I'd be brutally honest. That DOS side from 2017 that got through to the cup run, and then had the really good season, Nick probably could have won the National League the year afterwards. They'd eat this lot alive, quite frankly.
Yeah, I think what he's meaning
is
just
too many canny heads, way too much experience. They were a set of bastards. They were never beaten. They wouldn't give up.
Yeah, I think the question really is the squad, strength of the squad, not the strength of the team. It's the players on the bench. Are you kind of looking at going, oh, actually, he could start. I wouldn't be too fussed. I think that's what I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what the question meant is, are we in the strongest position where we could mix it up squad-wise, not necessarily the team?
Certainly, I think the quality is very even. I think it's probably a fair way to describe the squad. You don't have any superstars, and then there's no real passengers as such at the moment. So, I mean, yeah, it's certainly a very even, balanced setup. So Steve can make changes when he needs to.
JR?
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you've seen it with Vaz, who's been on the sidelines for ages, and he hasn't been able to get in. He gets in, and he's been playing pretty well. So Steve has faith in whoever he brings on, I think, and you can see that it is very even. All the players. Yes, he's got his eight or nine favourites, obviously, but the other guys, they can all do a job. Whether it's the strongest we've ever had, no. We finished 8th in League Two with a squad.
This is non-league, so no.
No,
It's not the strongest by a country mile, and a 2017 side would beat this lot, the whole squad. Because we don't forget we get a lot of injuries every season, so these players do come in and support. And when we have our injuries, we've been found wanting a little bit before Christmas. It seems to have changed. The tide has changed, I think, and the players are stepping up a little bit now. So. And with a couple of additions, it made a massive difference.
Mhm.
And so we do have a strong squad, but it's not nowhere near the strongest we've ever had.
we don't have a Bards to step in everywhere that
Mm.
we're I'm a shifting goal, John. Right, we're going to do another jingle because we're going to finish off with yesterday, and it's the good, the bad, and the funny when I come back. Okay, JR, what was good about the match day experience? Doesn't have to be on the pitch. It can be anything you like. What was good yesterday?
Well, it's just the well, again, we were talking about this yesterday. That the last few weeks, well, last season and at the start of this season, the football was getting in the way of our away trips, but it's not now. So we're rather enjoying the football as well as the rest of it. And the camaraderie and the banter with the guys I travel with is absolutely fantastic. It's a right laugh. It makes my weekend when I go away. So that's always good, even though they're a bunch of oddballs, aren't they, Dan?
Yep.
But no.
Sorry, they are or they've got. Sorry, I didn't catch that.
They won't mind me saying they know. We've said this to each other many a time.
And a lot worse.
And
And
a
a lot worse, yeah.
Dan, what was good for you?
Just trying to think. Actually, it was just again another really good day out. I suppose if you've got to go with the football, it was a disciplined first half performance. We just was solid, kept our shape. That's good to see. And some good pubs, good few beers. And again, it's always nice to, again, we were talking about the raising away support. It's always good going into some of these boozers and seeing other Sutton fans that you know or are around. That's good to see.
Excellent. What was bad for you?
Ref, I think he was probably the negative. Didn't affect the result, thankfully, but I'd say that was probably the worst part of the day. All everything else kind of went to plan. Trains were good, pubs were good. No one died, no one got left behind. So
we're not going to explore that no one died bit. I don't remember reading that blog. JR, what was bad for you?
I would say Josh Cody's injury. Just because, obviously because he's gonna. It looks as though he's going to be out for a few weeks, and he's a pretty key player. He's an experienced player. He's played for us in League Two. He's played a lot of games in League Two, and he's been pretty decent this year. He creates problems for the opposition. So I think he's going to be a bit of a miss for the next couple of weeks, or however long he's out. It probably might be longer than that. We just don't know. But I suspect he's not going to be playing next Saturday. I don't think so. That's the bad for me.
I think if he's playing next Saturday, I'm going to keep the wool out of the way of the cat.
Well, if he does play, it'd be brilliant.
Yeah, I ain't going to go anywhere near the physio staff because they'll be quite cross, I should imagine. What was funny for you, JR?
Well, what was funny?
JR says the ref, Dan. See,
the rest
really.
The rest performance, actually there was a picture of made me chuckle anyway, that I think Paul took of when Will Davis scored and Ian Bell's run down to the front with his dodgy hips, and he's right full of Dr. Bell, as we call him, right full in front of the photo. He's right in the centre of the photo, so that made me chuckle a little bit. I thought you got dodgy hips, mate, but he was down the front celebrating, so that made me chuckle quite a bit.
Fair enough. Dan, what was funny for you?
Just trying to think of a standout moment. I mean, it's just the usual away day.
Goalkeeper shirt. Goalkeeper shirt.
I wouldn't say it was funny. Although there can't be many football clubs that get where their fans get a preview of a new kind of rare shirt like that in the pub, because the kit man's got up. One of the kit guys has got up so early that he's popped in for a pint before he drops it at the ground. So that was quite funny. I think actually it was we had to change at rugby on the way home. Just because we're on a slightly slower train, so we got off at rugby to get a faster one back through to London. And once we were off on the platform, we had about 10-minute wait, and everyone just was there, having been really polite on the train, and just was evacuating certain smells, shall we say. It was like the scene out of Blazing Saddles. Again, kids, Google it.
Just watch it.
Just but without the baked beans. Yeah, it was like you did not want to be standing downwind on that platform last night. It was quite funny. I thought maybe that's just my sense of humour, and I'm an exceptionally juvenile individual.
Smelt like Swindon. Right. So very quickly, our next match is obviously Tuesday night, where it is. If either team win in 90 minutes, sorry, Rodrigo, if you're going to listen to that, it's 90, not 90. So it's whichever team wins in 90 minutes goes through. Theoretically, I believe a win on penalties could go through, but it would have to be something like a 6-6 plus draw for that to happen. So basically, whoever wins in 90 minutes can get through. Anything else, both teams are out. But Hartlepool, they upset us a couple of months ago. We conceded just some goals. We were talking about defensive performances. Dan, how do you feel that's going? I mean, they had a chance to go above us yesterday, I think, if they'd won by 2 or 3. They didn't, they drew. So they're quite close to us. But how do you see the game going?
It's going to be another tough one. I mean, it looks like Lenny Lawrence has certainly got them a lot more settled than when we went up there. I didn't get to go to the game up there, but from what I was told and what I saw of the highlights, I mean, first half we should have been out of sight on them, and just again those sort of early seasons frailties, I suppose, are the best way to put it. We didn't quite deal with some situations and let them back into the game. But they've not exactly set the world alight either since. So we do need to start winning at home more consistently. So hopefully it'll be an opportunity to get another win on the board and just improve the home record a little bit more, which we've got to do if you want to be there or thereabouts at the end of the season.
Okay, give us a prediction for the prediction league that you're not involved in.
Let's go with a 2-0 home win.
2-0, lovely. JR, standard things apply. I will want a prediction from you after you tell us how you see it going, but you can obviously change your mind at any point when you enter.
Yeah, well, I will. Don't worry. Well, I was there at Hartlepool, and it was very disappointing because we thought we'd done another Southend, and we didn't. It fell apart, but we're a different side now. I really believe that we've turned a corner, and we could really go on a run. I really like the confidence of the side. So yeah, Hartlepool have changed a little bit. They're not conceding as many goals, but I think we might be too strong for them. It's going to be a tough game. Obviously, they're all very difficult. But I just fancy us to maybe sneak a little win. Although that's not I think 2-1, but I won't put that on the prediction. I'll do something different on that. But just because I always get the predictions wrong, so I'm quite happy. So yes, I'll go 2-1. And obviously, Will Davis is going to score the first goal. Everybody's going to put Will Davis because he is. I just go with him every time, and that's the only points I'm getting in the prediction league.
Well,
It was Josh at the start of the season, and it was Will.
Yeah.
Could it be Dylan? Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm gonna go 3-0. I just gonna
Ooh.
go big because I reckon it'll be tight. You're quite right, but then I reckon we'll take the lead. They'll start pushing. We'll hit them twice on the break. So that's my prediction, 3-0. So we're gonna wrap up this episode. As always, thanks to everyone for your attention and your feedback. Get involved in Knowing Me, Knowing You segment. What's the most unusual place you've seen someone wearing a Sutton United shirt? Well, I've said or Sutton United merchandise. It doesn't have to be a shirt. Follow, like, share this episode at Sutton Podcast on social media. Don't forget to subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Give us the thumbs up, especially on YouTube. And we will be back after the Hartlepool match with Rory and Claire. I have double checked. Rory is aware it's a home match, so so he will be on it. And as always, thank you to the sponsors, Lucky Star Gin. Big thank you to you guys of Dan and JR. And thanks to listeners. Hope you've enjoyed this episode of Sutton Podcast. Take care and goodbye. See you soon. Bye.
United! 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 United!